My guest today is a man who'll be switching his tackies, his jeans and his guitar for a morning suit and a cup of tea with the Queen. Johnny, it's wonderful to have you here. It's really an incredible award for you. Did you ever expect to get an OBE?
Not at all. In fact, when the call came through from the British High Commission, I thought this was a kind of a radio setup, because they're always trying to get to nail me. She said, I've been instructed to inform you that Buckingham Palace has awarded you the OBE. So I listened to the phone and I said, okay, now which radio station could this be? So I asked her a few protocol questions about, and she answered them very quickly and efficiently. So I said, is this for real? She says, of course it's for real. So I was completely, she says, but this is totally embargoed. You cannot tell anybody until we're ready to make our press statements. So I said, okay, no problem. Put down the phone, and I phoned my wife.
What did they recognize you for?
Okay.
I mean, because it goes beyond
yes.
Your music.
Okay, it was for three things basically, but for me, the more meaningful aspect of it is that it's a long service award. It goes back 30 years. It's not given lightly, and it's also...
just to put it in perspective,
yes.
OBE is one up on MBE, which the Beatles got.
Yes.
So it's higher than the Beatles. Okay.
I know.
Sorry.
So it's a recognition of my contribution to the formation of democracy in South Africa, for my work in disadvantaged communities. I do a lot of, especially internationally, I link up with many different charities. During my performances, the last 2 years, I've been working with World Vision against child labour and human trafficking, and during the interval, fundraise for them, and treatment action campaign. This year is my big move. Basically, looking at multi-drug resistant TB, and then. For my cultural contribution to creating a new music form, which is the particular unique crossover style that Juluka and Savuka. So it's a musical, humanitarian and a political recognition, but over an extended period. And that's the thing for me.
That's very interesting, because you say crossover.
Yes.
You did crossover from the age of 15, 16, 17. You come from a musical background.
Yes.
Now, most kids of that age want to be rock and roll singers.
Yes.
They just want to get up and get the woman or whatever they rock and roll singers do.
Yeah.
And yet, here you are making this very serious move. Were you always a serious kid?
Yeah, my stepfather was a journalist and a crime reporter. My mom was a cabaret jazz musician. They were very progressive in their own way. My stepfather took me into the townships when I was 9, 10, 11. He did a lot. He was a crime reporter. He took me in, and so I saw another part of South Africa that the young boys of 9, white young boys, didn't even know
and it
existed.
had an impression on you.
Had a huge impression on me, because I loved the energy, and I loved the life, and I loved the colour and the texture and the openness of the townships. It was just, every time we went in there, it was an incredible, it was an over-sensory experience, for me.
But you shifted then to the Zulu culture.
Yes, what happened is when I was 12, my mom bought me a classical guitar. So I was learning Spanish classical guitar, which, you have to play in a certain way. Your hand has to be like the head of a swan, over the strings, and you have to perform, and you've got a little thing for your foot to be on. It's quite a thing. And when I was 14, I was getting one. I was sent up to the local cafe to get bread and milk early evening, and outside there was a Zulu guitarist, and steel guitar, and I heard
steel means homemade.
No, I was playing gut strings.
These are steel strings.
These are steel strings, very, very bright and brash. The sound of it, you could hear it from the corner coming down to the cafe, and he was standing outside and he was playing. And I looked at the guitar and I looked at what he's doing, and I just had a epiphany. And I thought, that guitar is tuned differently. And he's playing it so differently to anything I have ever seen. And it's the Maskanda music, street music. It's a generic term. It comes from Afrikaans musikant, Maskanda. Yeah, and just going back, it came out of a tradition of Uguvamba, which is to strum, and then in the 50s, it moved on to Ugupega, to picking, and the picking styles developed, and one of the most early great proficient performers and exponents of this was a guy called Puzu Shugela, he who drinks sugar. And Puzu Shugela became our idol and our icon. Anyway,
this is street music. I mean, this is all music. Traditional.
This is all traditional Zulu music, and how it was played is the thumb would play every beat in the bar. So the thumb would go, and the forefinger would go, and then he would be singing a third thing. So it's a separation of your body parts in a way, and it was tuned differently. And I knew that I was seeing a South African blues or some kind of unique genre of South African guitar music, and I wanted to learn it. So I joined the team. It took me about 4 or 5 months to get it right, and I became a mascot to this traditional Baka dancing team. And then they took me to a competition. So I became famous overnight as a dancer, and I enjoyed the incredible esprit de corps that one had in the team, and I suddenly felt like a portal, a window had opened up for me into a completely new world. And I had real issues with identity. I had grown up in 3 different countries. You know, I have a Jewish background. I was also born in England. I have an English father who I didn't know. I didn't know where to situate myself culturally, and I was struggling with that. And suddenly, I had this incredibly powerful warrior identity that I could be part of and share in and develop my masculinity, my youthful. I was 14, 15. I was getting into, into that stage of life, looking for, male role models. And these guys were so tough and so robust and resilient.
Where are we today? Where's South Africa today? You know, what songs, what words are you writing about? What's in your lyrics today?
Well, my songs, I've written a lot of different songs. My last album is a song about one of the great contradictions in South Africa, where on the one hand, even with BEEE and attempts to right the economic imbalances inherited from the legacy of apartheid, there's a huge swathe of young people and township people who don't have work. So when you speak to them, they'll say, we might have political freedom, but we don't have no economic freedom at all. And then you speak to people of my son's, white kids of my son's generation, who feel that they don't have an opening in the economy because they are at the bottom of the 4 groupings, and they're male, and they are white, so they are not going to be able to, afford, they've either got to make their own way and make their own business, whatever it is. So they go overseas as youngsters to try and make money in England or, America, whatever it is. And so this was a great contradiction coming out of our attempt to address these deformities, the economic deformities that we inherited. So I wrote a song called Asilazi, which is on my last album, which means it is basically, on the one hand, the chorus is, township people saying, we don't know when we're really going to be free. The but with all our hearts, we are wishing for the day that it really arrives. And then in the verse, it's basically a young white guy saying, you know, I was born in the new South Africa, but you know, I wasn't a brick in the wall of apartheid, but I don't really have a space here, so I think I'm going to leave. So the song carries those contradictions.
Are you still dancing?
Yeah, still, yes.
Your knee's okay.
No, look, the thing is the stamina issue. You know, yeah, it's to keep going. So my shows have changed a lot. Some of my shows are stripped down. I do a very interesting sit down, acoustic, unplugged, storytelling, anecdotes, key songs which map out South Africa, map out culture, map out all the big issues. Some of them funny, some of them serious, some of them quite spiritual, looking at ideas of traditional ideas of ancestor worship and all that. And some of them just really factual reporting. I'm an anthropologist by training, you understand? I taught for 4 years, and so I have a great interest in culture. So these stories fit into my live show when we do the broken down one, the one that's just 3 of us or 4 of us. And I enjoy that because it's a much deeper sharing and communication about who we are, because I think our real journey is to find out who we are and how we're going to get there. And the next 10 years are critical. So my other show is more of a theatre performance where I have a big production. I can afford to have a huge screen at the back. I can show video. I can show historical footage. I can show Mandela and me dancing, you know. I can do lots of things with a massive lighting show. And so every 2 or 3 years we do a big production like that, which my management put together.
Johnny, we're going to have to leave it there.
Okay.
I'm going on.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're going to even have to
okay, well, you've got a lot of footage and stuff, yes.
It's really been wonderful listening to you. I think we are so proud of you.
Thank you,
and
David.
What I really enjoy is just this amazing energy that has been with you for all these years, that you can still keep it up and still keep up the interest. And you look good.
Thank you.
You look pretty good, and I really hope you enjoy.
Thank you,
I just hope you enjoy Tea with the Queen, and I think you deserve it.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
You've been on the couch with OBE, Johnny Clegg, and me, David Shapiro.